Hey guys, Matt Wenning at winningstrength.com, and today we're going to talk about what I learned from Louie Simmons. Now, we've talked a little bit about this before, but I wanted to go into some key points because I think there were some things that he really taught me a ton when I was from ages about 19 to 25 that really helped me out, and maybe it'll help you out. So let's get to it.
Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a f, that's what they don't understand. I'm back again like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving, don't give a f, I don't care. Did the by my lonesome, no wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run, all I really want is my share.
Okay, so the first thing, obviously, that most of us learned from Louie Simmons, or should have learned from Louie Simmons, was that there are three methods of training, right? You got the dynamic effort method, the maximum effort method, and the repetition effort method. Those three methods conjoin or are basically the top tier of everything you do in resistance training. And how you manipulate those is going to be heavily dependent on not only how strong you get, but how long you stay in the game, right? And how transferable your strength may be to sports. Because let's just face it, a lot of guys watching this, powerlifting may not be your end goal. It might be to run faster, jump higher, tackle harder. All these other things are huge and also very, very important to utilize resistance training if for no other reason other than to stay healthy. But in those three methods, what you start realizing is that most people, if you go to your average gym, like a Lifetime or a any kind of club, they're not utilizing or thinking of any of these three methods. They're doing their traditional 3 sets of 10. They're doing, they might max out every once in a great while, but they're not utilizing the actual methods which were intended to get people much, much better. Now, why is this important for you guys? Well, if you're ignoring one of those particular methods, then eventually it affects the other two. For instance, if I want to bench, say, 100-pound dumbbells for a set of 25 reps, I probably better bench more than 200 pounds in order to achieve that. Because if I can only bench 200 pounds, there's no way I can do 100-pound dumbbells for sets of 25. It's my max. So my max probably needs to be around 350, 400 pounds in order to do that. So as you can see, if I push my maximum strength up, it helps my repetition effort method at a higher resistance, which leads to more hypertrophy, more ligament and tendon strength, better endurance, more pure muscle size. On the other side of that factor, if I want to be stronger, I'm going to have to be quicker. So if I only work on repetition effort method or classic linear periodization, when I go to max, I'm not going to be as powerful because my body has learned to conserve energy doing the repetition method only. Meaning that if I'm doing 10s all the time, how does that transfer to ones? Let's look at it in a running perspective. You would probably never see Usain Bolt run a 1 mile to win the 100-meter dash. But we do that with lifting all the freaking time, right? Well, if I can bench 225 for 20 reps, I should be able to do 405. That's not necessarily true. So what you find is that if you only focus on one method, the other methods are going to get ignored and eventually start limiting your progress. So just take a look at these three methods. Come on, look at the website on winningstrength.com, read on the manuals, check those out and see what you think. But I guarantee that most of you people watching this are ignoring one of the three methods in a drastic way. The next thing was conjugate periodization, which that stuff was kind of based on, meaning that we're rotating contraction types on a consistent basis. What is nice about conjugate periodization above other models is the fact that you don't trade off one benefit for another. So if I'm constantly doing speed work and I'm constantly doing rep work and I'm constantly doing max work, I'm getting stronger, faster, and bigger all at the same time. Now it may be a little slower because I'm not focusing particularly on that one area, but I'm not trading one area for another and all of them are growing at an equal rate. Now your genetics will base that, how fast that happens. What you find with linear periodization is you trade off hypertrophy for strength and strength for power. You never really work on any one of those equally. You're always trading off one for the other. That becomes a huge issue to getting super, super good, and I find is one of the huge problems with how most people train, is they train power for strength, strength for speed, all these other things. They're mix matching and working on different things at different times, and while they're doing that, They're increasing an advantage in one area, but they're ignoring another area and losing progress. You have to train everything in an equal fashion, and that's one thing that Louie taught me. The last thing that I think really, really hit home and something that I learned was I trained at a local YMCA. Now, I didn't train by myself. I had pretty good training partners at the YMCA. Comparatively, though, to the training partners that I had at Westside Barbell and here, the groups that I made, it was night and day difference. What does this mean? This means that if you're in your own garage having aspirations to be insanely strong and do things that are insanely crazy, your chances of doing that without a high-level group that everybody's pushing each other is very, very small. The real reason that Westside Barbell was so dominant in the late 80s all the way until my era was the fact that we all wanted to get better and we all pushed each other and nobody left anything on the table if that was the day to do that. When you got 5 or 6 other guys breathing down your neck, wanting to all get better and pushing you out of your comfort zone every day, it's hard to just go in and just do the work. It's hard to go in and just kind of go through the motions. You push it hard every time because everybody else is pushing hard too. So I find for a lot of you guys that are in your own little basement gyms and whatever, you don't have the environment to go to big time weights. That doesn't mean that training needs to be negative, and it doesn't mean that you're not doing anything if you're training by yourself. But if you want to be the best, you better be in a group that makes you the best. That's what made Louie Simmons and Westside Barbell so strong. That's what made the old days of guys at Omaha Barbell and all those dudes, Rick Hussey, made all those guys strong. They had groups of guys that were killers in the weight room, and that's what made everybody strong. So if you guys like this story and you guys want to hear more, we're going to shoot an extended version on Patreon. Come on there, and I'm going to talk another 5 or 10 minutes of the stuff I learned from Louie. If not, go on winningstrength.com, check out some of our manuals, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss.